worry too much about going around in fancy movements and stuff. It's more, you're going to want to see the horse, not... I'm not going to bother saying anything until there's people here. So can you just
I'll let you know when. Yeah.
anybody hear other words? Kind of pointless. I'm starting to usually hurt myself. You saw this before, though, right?
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Alright, so I'm going to just do a very quick stream today. I'm not going to go for a long time. I do want to talk about something that's very important that most people don't talk about. And that is, when you're working on your groundwork, a lot of people just want to get on and ride. Fair enough, I get that, but if you don't do your groundwork, your rides aren't going to be as good. Unless you've got a really quiet horse. If you've got a young horse in particular, groundwork is more important than riding. Especially the first few years of working with them. So, for people who are nervous, which a lot of people are around horses and stuff, what you don't want to do is you don't want to be unfamiliar with your horse. So there are a few ways to be familiar with your horse, and that is working on the ground with the horse, just asking them to do very basic things. So the very first thing I teach a horse whenever I get it is, well, the very first thing I teach them is to hook onto me. But I'm not going to teach that right now. What I'm going to teach now is I teach them to do a drop. So I'll just very lightly touch and say drop, and she'll drop down. And I'll say again drop, and she'll drop again. And then I can get her right to the ground like that. And I can get her to sort of stay. And the reason I teach that is it just helps them with relaxing in their submissive pose. Now when you do that, that then allows you to do more things with the horse because they're in a relaxed state. So if you then want to get to their feet and things like that, and this horse has already been trained to lift, I don't have to pull on her hair. You'll see people pulling and tugging on horses' feet, and the horses get really agitated and you're really asking to get kicked when you're doing those kinds of things. You should be able to begin when you first start the horse to learn about its feet, and she instantly does it. But when you're first asking and requesting a horse to move, you start just by getting them familiar with you touching. So I'm going to ask her to stay right there. I don't want her to lift, I just want her to stay. Good girl. So we just get familiar with our horse. It's scary picking their feet up, and it can be scary to do things with them. And I want her to keep her foot right where it is. I don't want her to move it, whether I touch it or not. So you can see there, I'm touching where the feathering part is and she's not lifting her foot because I'm not indicating that I want it lifted. Now go on this side. I'll do the same thing. She's getting ready because she's anticipating that what I'm going to do is lift her feet and do her feet. And I'm going to say, no, just relax yourself and keep your foot down. Don't lift. I'm going to ask her to stay. Just so she's not having to feel like she has to lift right there. Doesn't touch the front and the back. I can touch all around. So you can see that that doesn't indicate to her that she needs to lift her foot. So if I want her to lift her feet, what I want her to do first and foremost is to be paying attention to me. And to get that to happen, I'll just get her to move her feet around. Just cross herself a little. Watch out, she's doesn't want to. Oh, and see, she's very expressive this morning about that turning. I'm not quite sure what she's cranked at right now, but she could be a little sore.
Welcome everyone. We've got 20 people in the room and 1 like. Let's see if we can get those likes up to 20.
And thanks everybody for coming on and seeing Ellie today. So once we've moved her around a bit, we disengaged her hind end a little bit. And what that does is that just gets her to think. It's like us, if we have to get up and stand up and move, where our brain activates a lot better than it does if we're sitting in a chair. We're less likely to not pay attention when we're up on our feet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask her, and she's not going to do it, she says no because you told me not to. So I'm going to move her again, and I'm going to say, lift, and she's going to hand it to me. And that's without me having to pull, push, or touch, or do anything else. And I'm going to do it on the other side so you can see that it's what she understands. So if you can train your horse, lift. She's not listening again, so we need to move her feet. So Rebecca's go back. What you don't want to do is you want them to give it to you. And this goes to show you they don't always do what you ask, even if they're well trained. You can ask her lift now. Now she's going to give it to me to lift her feet. So I got that foot up without having to argue with her. Now she would have liked to have argued had I have just stood there and tried. I might have been pulling and pushing and carrying on forever. But by moving those feet back and getting her to wake up and think, she's very sleepy and tired because of the sun, I've gotten her to pay attention to me and I've gotten her to respond lovely in that way. So that's one thing that is a really good groundwork exercise to do regularly with your horse. Doesn't matter how good your horse is. Now you'll go into stables where there's a lot of people who are, you know, they're horse people, they've had them for years and years and years. Their horse won't do what she does. And it's because they've learnt they're not reading the right way to work with a horse. You want to make it the horse's idea. And when it's them giving their foot freely, then when the farrier comes or someone different comes, they're not going to be carrying on and being silly. They're just like, okay, I understand what that means. I understand what this is. And I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody pulled on her foot, she'd lift it. But she may also then strike at somebody. We don't want to do that. Now she's nice and relaxed here. She's probably going to fall asleep. She does tend to do that. Give her a rub there. I've been a good girl. So I'm being a good girl. And another thing I like to do to get ready and practice with girthing and things like that is to practice a lot of touching underbelly and around the girth area. And you can see there that she doesn't have any kind of issue with me touching anywhere down where the girth goes or underneath the belly or anywhere along there at all. And that's a really good sign that if I put the girth on and she's okay with me touching like this and she's not carrying on, but she's only doing it when the saddle comes out, that she has a behavioural thing going on with the saddle and it's just laziness and not wanting to work, as opposed to actually having something like an ulcer. Because if you have an ulcer on a horse, generally this area here, when you touch and push here, you will get a very bad reaction with or without a saddle being there. Any kind of movement here will hurt. And they will act and react quite badly to it. Now, Another good thing is to back up. So I'm now in her space. I'm going to ask her to leave my space, and I want her to go further back. I'm going to use the word back, and I'm just going to let her stand there and think about it all. She's having a bit of a quiet morning. She's going to sleep. Very tired. Ah, sleepy girl. She's like, this is boring. And we're going to go back again. I'm coming into her space. I'm going to gently ask her to go back. She's not one that likes backing up. My other horse likes backing up and she's quick at it. This girl, you can't rush her with backing up. If you start rushing her, she'll plough forwards. So you don't want to do that. You want to take her time and take your time. We're just going to ask her to go back. I'm going to go one more there, and I'm going to stand here. So I literally want my elbow where she can't, where she's not in my space, where she, if she comes and she goes into where my elbow is, that's where we don't want her. So she can stay right where she's at, or you can push a bit further back and go an arm's length out if you want to. An arm's length is good when you're learning with a horse to keep back. When you've already discovered how your horse works and you can understand what they do, then you can get them a little bit closer without too much of a problem. I'm going to ask her to stay there while I move back here. And I don't want her to move, I just want her to stand. And I'm going to just drop that for now. So I'm going to walk around her and I'm going to ask her to stand nice and still for me. I want her to relax and drop. Good girl. And just chill out for a second there. Without walking off or eating, but we just want her to back here. Just relax, good girl. And I'm going to do something that scares the crap out of me, and that is I'm going to walk around the back of her. So when I do that, I want to be letting her know I'm there at all the time, making sure that when I get down to the back end, I'm closely approximately off her, and I'm touching almost all of her bum as I'm going round. Now, it doesn't look like it's much, but if you can do that kind of exercise, it just gives you a little bit more confidence and trust in them that they are doing the right thing by you. Because some horses don't like their back end being touched at all. Some don't like anybody going behind them. Others are okay with it. My other mare doesn't like people behind her. I've got a little girl over the back who really hates people behind her. A lot of mares are like it. She's going to show me. Oh, here's another thing. So stretching exercises is another good way to get to know your horse and what they're capable of and what their limitations are. She's having a good big yawn. And we're going to go over the back here. I'm just going to ask her to stretch. And she does it really, really well. And I don't have to be on the same side as her for her to do it. She just knows to do it. Oops. So that's how we work that one. And we'll just show you again. No, she's stretching on the wrong side there. So we're going to just give a little tap that and go. Let's go this side. Stretch. Says I don't want to stretch that way. Okay, we'll go this side first, and then we'll do the other side. Touch. Good job. And over and come on. Touch. Good job. So that's she's going to keep doing it without being asked to do it. But that's a good little exercise. The other stretch is if you go down and back. We go down, drop, drop, and we want to pull back a little bit. Just a little bit. We can drop. And that's a nice little stretch there. Now, when they're a little bit lazy and they're a bit tired, you don't always have to do, I didn't ask you to come into my space, so I'm going to correct that. And you'd be surprised how small corrections like that make a big difference with a lot of things that you end up doing. So it really is worth the time to take to do a correction like that. If your horse comes in when you haven't asked him to, and look, I'm moving backwards and she's just going to stand there for me, and she's thinking about where she's going to go, but I haven't asked her to come forward. So she's in a good mind frame of listening to me as her leader. She says, you're not asking me yet. And if I ask, don't have to pull on her. Just ask her to come up and walk. And she'll stand where I've asked her to go. Looks really easy. You'd be surprised how many people have had horses their whole life and they cannot get their horse to do something so basic as this. And it's because they've been too keen to worry about what happens on the back of the horse and not worry about what's happening down here to get the mind of the horse in tune with you. If you want a horse that's going to listen to you up there, you have to be listened to down here. If you don't get listened to down here, forget it. They might behave 100 times, and then that 101 time, they might do something that ends up with you dead. And it's not going to be... So she wants to walk over. I'm just going to walk her over this little hole just to help her wake up and think about what she's doing. She hasn't been over a pole for a while. Good job. A little bit of a bang there. But, and that's another thing, even just doing very small exercises where you're walking. She says, I don't really want to do anything, I'm lazy. So she's given me a face. That's all right. She's young. It's like trying to get a teenager to clean its room up. Hey, this way. Over. You're gonna do it the hardest way ever, aren't you? She says, yep, I will. Good job. You will.
Hey, Raven Rides. How you going?
Good job. Good morning, Raven. How you doing? So these little things that I do, the other things are, a lot of horses don't like things like their ears being touched because it's a very sensitive part of their body. If you can start just experimenting around the ears, if you've got a horse that doesn't like its ears being touched, just experiment around the ears with very gentle, soft. Oh, no. I'm going to back up for that one. She just gave me a bit of a nip. She's basically saying, I don't want to do any work with you whatsoever today. And that's okay. But she'll let me touch her ears and I can go right in, and if there's burrs in them I can pull them out and she doesn't cause a big drama. Some horses that I've had, if you even touch near their ear, they'll just go you. For whatever reason, it could be they've been bitten on the ear by another horse, it could be somebody's pulled their ears, it could be they've had something cut them on the ear. You never know what's happening unless you've had them from a tiny baby.
Okay, Raven's got to go and feed the horses.
Oh.
And we have someone named Yoler that seems to think that Ellie's a donkey.
Oh, well, a lot of people think Ellie's a mule. But she's not a donkey. She looks the same colour, very similar colour to some mules and donkeys. But she is definitely not one of those. She's actually an Appaloosa crossed with a gypsy cob. And see how she came into my space there? I'm going to ask her to back up again. Nice and slow. This is how you get a horse to respect you. You can throw a whip at them, you can whip the crap out of them. They're not going to respect you. I'm going to tell you that right now. They respect you when you're calmer, when you're collected and you don't get aggressive with them and you ask nicely. Then they respect you. They might throw little tantrums here and there when they don't. She thinks I want her to do something I don't want her to do. So I'm going to ask her. And see how she's much better at backing up. Whoa, now see that? That. I'm going to go back again. Because I didn't like that.
Isabel says, so cute, I wish I had one.
The more that she keeps striking, and you can see, this is what I'm talking about. This horse is not an easy horse. When she doesn't want to do something and she's in a mood, she's going to, and see what she's doing here. She's trying to touch her belly because she thinks I want She's thinking if she does that, it'll all be over with. She wants the grass. She wants to get out and play. So we're going to go and do some work because I don't like the fact that she's struck at me. That's bad behaviour, and it's something she's been increasing doing, especially around the little fella because he's doing it and she's mimicking him a lot of the time. So I'm going to make her move and walk. She wants to strike, she can go up over the pole. That's good striking motion, and that'll get her to think about it. And she'll think, well, hang on a minute, do I really want to be lifting my feet up like this? Maybe this is what she thinks I want. Maybe I shouldn't do that because it means heavy work. So it's a reverse psychology. And I want her to also stay slightly back from me because I'm watching her body language. And while she looks not too bad, you can see that here and there, she's pulling the ears further back. And that's an indicator that she's pretty displeased with having to do what I'm asking her to do. Now the other thing you can do if they start doing ridiculous things is you can say, okay, you want to lift that foot up? Let's lift it up. Come on. Lift. And now she doesn't want to. So this one's one that you can work with a lot of reverse psychology. Come on. Now she won't lift it.
Wow, we have 50.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
She's basically pulling a little tantrum here right now, and look at her body language. Her eye says, I really don't want to have to work today, I'd rather just be lazy. And her behaviour, I'm going to touch the foot up and down, that she's struck with. There we go. I'm going to hold it for a second. I'm going to come forwards and go back. I'm just going to do that gently. And now every time she goes to strike me, I'm either going to make her go up and down like that, or I'm going to make her walk over something so she has to lift her foot. So she goes, there's got to be a purpose for this. If I'm just randomly doing it to get my own way, it's not going to work. And we'll see how well that works. Not, but it has worked before on other horses.
Isabel asks, are you teaching her to back up?
I was a minute like, well...
I think she was just a minute ago, yeah, but we're now doing something a little bit different, yeah.
So she will back up. But she's not a horse that you can kind of, and see there? See that there? She says, I don't want to go back. Backing up, she's sick of doing. So that's where the strike comes in. She's not sore, and she's not lame. I get a regular chiro out.
How old is Ellie again?
Hey?
How old is Ellie again?
She's just about to turn 5. She'll be 5 around the 15th of October.
Oh, wow, cool.
And the reason she doesn't want to back up is because it takes more effort to go backwards than it does to go forwards. If you try walking backwards as opposed to walking forwards, which is easier. So, when she's misbehaving and she doesn't want to listen and she's being silly, the backing up, and it's not always going to work because sometimes they'll back up because they want to back up because they want to back into something and scratch themselves or something like that. And you just got to read them at the time. You can sometimes have several different ways to work. So there's nothing set in stone. This is the thing. You have to work with them according to the environment around them. What works in one environment may not work in another. For instance, if I took her into an environment where there was a whole heap of people and a whole heap of other horses, her attitude wouldn't be standing still like this. She'd be up looking around trying to get at any horse she could, probably trying to strike any horses that were near her. She does that when you take her out up the road. She tries to strike at the neighbours' horses. And it's simply because she has a more dominant nature than other mares. And she seems to sort of go more for trying to be in control, but she's lazy. It's a good thing she's lazy because if she wasn't lazy, I probably wouldn't have been able to have handled her. She would have been a bit too wild, I think.
Raven has to go do some chores and she'll be back maybe later. Yeah.
Oh, okay, lovely. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, guys, we have 53 people in the room and only 9 likes. Can we make it 50 likes pretty soon?
Watch that. She just, every time she faces you, she's flicking that tail at you.
She definitely does, yep.
So she's getting fed up and cranky. What I'm going to do, I'll have hold in. She just wants to get out. That's what she wants to do. She worked yesterday. She says, I don't want to work today. Good luck. You can come to those feet there. Good girl. And I had a problem with her one time. I could not get her through the gate without trying to strike at me. So what I did is I made a basic gate inside here, and I got her to continuously, no, you don't push at me. I said no, that's not nice, okay? I'm just moving her back for a second. She tried to nudge me a little with her nose. She's young, you've got to correct all the time. It's like having a pillar that's, you know, hanging off you going, oh, I want a lolly at the shop, and you're going, no, and it's going, no, I want one, and they'll throw a tantrum. Well, horses are no different. They just are a lot heavier than a toddler, and if you've got 500 kilos striking at you with a force that's pretty damaging, it can get quite dangerous. Now, she's not trying to kill me by any means or anything like that, but she is trying to tell me I don't want to work. And that is because she is by nature very lazy. She's the worst horse I've ever had for doing that. I've never had one that's struck like this girl does. And I can understand why the lady who had her prior to me really was quite afraid of her and really want to work with her, because she can be really quiet and really great, and then she can sort of be, there you go. I know, you're being very patient, but we're going to back up again because you came into my space, and that's the whole thing. Don't want her, and that's part of that, her coming into my space and sneaking in is about her basically trying to take over as far as the pecking order goes. So she's trying to say, well, I want to be the boss now, so I'm going to encroach upon you. If she was in a paddock with other mares and she came up and did that to another mare, they'd turn around and they'd just boot her one right in the face. And she'd move really quickly. Her laziness would disappear and she'd be out of there in a shot. My other mare over the back there is the leader of the whole lot of them at this point in time. It does change and fluctuate. So she's down on the pecking order at level number 3. She's the bottom. Toki is second. He's only a tiny horse, but he's mentally coming number 2. So she wants to get up. So how does she get up? Well, nudging and pushing herself in and testing and seeing whether or not another horse is going to tolerate her walking into them. And this is where I have to act like a horse would, because Zara would not tolerate that. If she came in and did that to Zara, if she came and did that to Zara, good girl, put her foot right back there.
Isabel says she is still learning to respect your bubble, but she is still impressive for a 5-year-old. I love how you're explaining how you need to be the leader, not the horse.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, some horses, their entire life, you've got to keep on correcting that respect level and in the bubble, as you say, because they are headstrong and they go challenge and challenge and challenge, and a lot of them end up in a knackery because of that behaviour. And you can give them to the best cowboy on the planet and they just can't deal with them. There's nothing they can do. They'll just look at them and go, shoot it, we're done. So it's so important from a young age to reinforce. It's like with children. When you have kids, you reinforce straight away. You set the bar straight away and you have your boundaries instantly there. And then as they grow up, it's so much easier than if you have to correct them at 12 or 13 years of age. Young horses will test you. There's nothing wrong with them testing you. It'd be strange if they didn't test you. It would be strange if they didn't try things to get back up on top of the herd. So I observe my horses a lot.
Sorry, whoa, I had to sneeze.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that.
Stop. She was asleep, Nellie, that's
Oh,
why.
goodness.
Gave her a fright.
I'm so sorry. We have Chris Gillespie here.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
Hey, Swanee, he says.
Yeah, so, and you can see, like, things can change in an instant. She was half out of it and he sneezed and she freaked out. Now that just gave me a goddamn heart attack. And if you're nervous like I am, I'm surprised I didn't drop the lead and run. Normally I probably would have. Just seen something on
Chris says, Swanee, you look like a little ray gun. Look a little like ray gun. Super happy for you.
Ray gun? Oh, you mean the rap woman, Rappy Ray Gun? I don't think I look like Ray Gun, but yeah. Oh, there's something bothering her right now, so she's probably got a horsefly or something around the back end of her. And she's probably pissed off. This is probably why she's in a cranky mood. But the other thing is too, you see a lot of people, they've always got their hands up here and they're holding on super darn tight to their horses. I don't like that. I think, for me, this is how I work. I like to give them a little bit of room, but close enough where if it gets out of hand, I can quickly get up here if I need to. But I do like to trust my horse that it's going to be, like I do with the reins, I try to keep everything soft and supple. So it's really their decision on what they're doing. And that way when you actually walk, you're not having to drag them. You can see there's still quite a bit between me and her. Whoop. And she's a little close there, so we'll just ask her to step back. Up. And there we go again. So she's telling me and asking me. So we're going to go straight away and correct that. We're going to go and make her have a purpose for lifting that leg up. Now we've got a purpose for it. Now, a lot of people will just whack the horse on the leg, give the hiding, whatever. That'll work on some horses, I'm sure, but a horse like her, forget it. You see, I'm giving her a boundary there. I'm saying back up a little. I'm just giving that there because she's starting to get pushy. And whilst she needs it to be her idea to follow me, what I don't need is her being pushy with me. So I'll stop her right there and she says, okay, I'm not going to push any further. I'll get up, back, back. So I'm asking for a step back, she's ignoring. And I want that little step back. It doesn't have to be 3 or 4 steps. It just has to be enough where she understands I've moved her foot. That's all it is. You've just got to move their feet. If they're aggressive towards you, they're going to try and move your feet. So if I'm standing here and she goes, no, I'm going to barge you, and I go like that, when she's coming forward, then she's going to go, ah, gotcha. She thinks she's up here then, and I'm down here. And she'd be right. I have to correct it again then. But it's a lot harder when you've got a dominating horse and, you know, a little bit of a, well, literally teenage sulk right now. All she's thinking about is where now. They're driven by food. That's all they're driven by. That's it. Well, the more patient you can ask them to be by doing these little exercises that we ask for, like that. As irritating as she thinks they are, she will do them very quickly and very easily because she understands the level of the pecking order.
Okay, so CC1234 says hello. We have Ariana back again. And we have Isabel saying, I like how you are being kind and correcting in the same way. I also like that you are giving her that release of pressure when she does the right thing. That is a huge reinforcement to the horse.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you've got to do. If you release the pressure when they're doing the wrong thing, you're going to teach them a bad thing very quickly. And listen, I'm only human. I've done a lot of wrong things with this horse and all the horses I've had. And the trouble is sometimes you're in situations where things like, you know, and see, I'm going to ask her to step back again. She might strike again. She might not. Back. Yep, and she does. Because I know how to read her. She's in a cranky mood. She's got the shits because she wants to go. She wants to go do something. So we're just going to keep her moving. Whenever I want her attention on me, I want those back legs moving. I want her walking and have a purpose. Give them a purpose all the time. Even if the purpose is to go around and walk over a poop or something like that. And if she comes too close, we want to back that up. And we want to reinforce that over and over again. This is where groundwork makes a massive difference. Imagine if I went out in the bush and I took her out for a big bush ride while she's still young and green, and I haven't worked on all this, and she decides, I'm going. I'm going to lose this horse. She's going to pull herself out of my hands. She is strong. I will never beat her physically. I will never be able to drag and hold on to her physically. She could, at any point in time, just drag me. No problem. She can overpower anybody that's human, pretty much. Strongest human on the planet. She could still probably drag them as well.
Cece says she absolutely loves Ellie.
Yeah. Ellie's great. So you've got to be aware of the fact that it's not about being able to push them around physically, it's about mentally being able to connect in such a way that they are on the same level as you, mentally listening and understanding and responding to you, but you are above them in the fact that you're the leader. And being unconfident can be a problem. I'm not a confident person, far from it. Despite the fact that it looks like I'm confident, I sound confident, but internally my heart's actually racing at the moment just because I'm in here and she keeps striking. But if I was to just drop everything and run, next time I come in here, the first thing she'll do is strike at me. She's done it before. She did have it over me at one point and I got terrified of her. I wouldn't even come in here at all. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And Josh actually got in here and she nearly killed him.
She surely did.
And he was like, no, I'll teach her, I'll do it. I said, I don't think it's going to work. And it didn't. She had him knocked on the ground in a moment of seconds. And he was basically at her mercy. And thank God she's got some kind of kindness in her and she didn't try to continue. She's got, you know, she can be bossy and things, but she's not fully nasty. Good job. I'm going to let her just, now that she did that nice step there, good job. Give her a nice pat there. Let her know she's doing a great job, despite the fact that she's a little impatient today. That's okay.
Isabel says, it seems like she has come a long way.
Yeah, she definitely has. Yes. But she is a tester and she is young. And I think that's her nature. I'd say she'll be like this her whole life. It won't matter. She'll just always have to be with firm people who understand and know what they're doing. And we didn't ask you to step forward into me there. No, I didn't ask you to step. So back you go. Thank you. One more. Good girl. Yeah, and you don't have to yell and scream at them and go berserk at them. Being patient. She just wants to eat. She's already had lunch. Breakfast, I mean. But I'll leave it at this anyway. This is probably where I'll say goodbye, but I'm really glad that I've been able to just do a stream on this kind of basic stuff. And if you are with a horse and you're having trouble, go back to the basic things that you do. It can be different exercises to what I'm doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be what I'm doing. And it could be something different that you like to do with your horse. Maybe it's set up poles, maybe it's just going through gates, backwards and forwards, maybe it's a lot of different stuff. And for now, I'm going to take her back home and get her where she can go and have whatever she wants to do. That's what she's been kind of waiting for.
Isabel says, I have the feeling that once she finds her person and that she and her person will have a really strong bond because her and her owner will grow together when they go through hard times together. Sorry, I can't read today.
That's very true. Her person is actually my daughter, and she doesn't really want to ride. She just can you just
Yeah, I'll come out. Hold the fence.
Can you push that gate so
Yeah.
you don't slam it into her?
Yeah.
I don't want to go crazy on me.
I'll just get that fence. Isabel says, thanks so much for this video.
No problem. Thank you for watching. I'm going to let her go and probably take off like a rocket when she goes. Off she goes. And that's what she's been waiting for, trying to get back up to those guys down there. All right, well, thanks everybody for participating, and that'll do for today. I hope everyone has a great day. Hopefully it's been helpful to somebody somewhere along the line. And thanks for all your input and your kind comments. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.